Welcome into the Paul Farrington Show, our Week 14 reaction show. Paul joined by Jack Weinberger, Robert Ziggy Ziegler at the University of Virginia, and Zach Bloomquist, the best executive producer in the game. Zach also cleaned up at his holiday work party today. He won a lot of raffles, apparently.
Oh, yeah.
What do you mean? How many raffles did they have?
There were 10 raffles. Apparently, the party was 50 to 60 people, and Zach won 3 of the 10, or at least walked up to receive a prize for 3 of the 10. Got booed on the last one.
Yeah, I would be worried winning that many prizes in the raffle because at some point they've got to start thinking it's a rig.
Yeah, who's running it? Being a newcomer also?
Who is running it, Zach? Like, who is pulling the names?
The CFO.
Oh.
Yeah.
How much did he pay him?
I didn't pay him anything. He lives in Allendale, apparently.
Oh.
Okay, the little buddy thing going on here.
Yeah. Being a newcomer, it's a little sus.
A little suspicious.
I didn't want to win.
But you know what? That's the industry Zach's in. He's in concrete. That, weird things happen in those industries.
I mean, Zach's a strong dude, moving those blocks around all day.
He's got the New Jersey connections.
Yeah. All right, we'll stop here before something bad happens to us. The fact that I'm here right now, I think, is insane. I'm running on fumes here from weekend in Chicago.
You had a Midwest SantaCon action.
Yeah, I mean, Midwest SantaCon. It was awesome. It was great.
I wish I could have come.
It was great to go out there, and then you wake up though at 6:30 in the morning, you catch a flight, and Ziggy, I was telling Jack on the ride over here, and Zach, I said there were moments on the way over. I know I didn't go crazy. I wasn't insane, but at a bar crawl, you do drink a fairly good amount of alcohol.
All day event,
and then you go and hang out with your friends who you haven't seen in a while. You're up late. An early morning flight, when you combine being hungover, when you combine being hungover with tired, there were a few points on the plane ride home where I would not have minded if we went down. I was that miserable. It was brutal. It was brutal.
I thought the city of Charlottesville was going down this morning.
Really?
There was some like a single strike of thunder that made like the building shake across the city of Charlottesville. I thought for sure it was a big bomb. World War III was starting. We were done. I went on the UVA Yik Yak, and like this was waking up students across the UVA campus at 6 in the morning. Now I was up. I was about to leave for mass, and it was bad enough that I just stayed home until the 11:30 because I was too spooked.
I'm not a thunder and lightning fan.
What time was the early mass that you were going to show up to? 7?
6:30.
Oh, 6:30.
6:30. Wow. Kudos to you, Ziggy, on a Sunday morning. I mean, we were all up early.
Yeah, I went to 11:30 mass today.
I wake up.
I went to 8 o'clock mass today.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Oh my God. I didn't make it today.
I can't fault you.
I need the Okay, so we'll talk. We'll get back into NFL talk right now.
Any other topics? Anything else? Ziggy, anything? Any stories?
I'm just trying to figure out how many team names I can throw the word fraud into because we're going to need it this NFL season.
Yeah, Zach and Ziggy are going to be going at it for the next 3-4 weeks because Ziggy has taken a turn on the Miami Dolphins.
Are the Pittsburgh Steelers a fraud?
No. You're not a fraud because you're not. No one thinks you're good.
Just bad.
Yeah, no one thinks you're good anymore.
You're a fraud like the Nigerian prince stuff, right? Anyone with half a brain can look at it and realize it's a fraud.
I'm hammering the Colts next week against Steelers, by the way. We'll be hammering the Colts.
Oh, you should. You should.
That's free money.
The Bills going to Arrowhead, and as we all predicted on the show, we actually had, so you weren't here, Jack, for the Week 14 predictions. We all picked Buffalo to win that game in Kansas City. And we know what
we said if you were there, you would have said the Kansas City Chiefs are dogs at home. Give me the Lone Wolf Chiefs all day.
Oh, you look at my FanDuel account and I had those Kansas City Chiefs today. On the small money line price at home, I'm like, they won't lose 2 games in a row.
So the Bills go in, though, win 20-17. We were robbed of an almost unbelievable ending with the Kadarius Toney being offsides there at the end. And what balls does it take for Travis Kelce to throw a football across the field at the end of a game like that?
He was kind of like contested too.
No, he's like a lunatic. He's a lunatic out there.
I mean,
but it's awesome. How many people in the NFL really would even consider doing that? The fact that he did it and it would have worked is pretty disappointing. And take a look at the Chiefs too. Sorry, Ziggy, I'll finish.
I was going to say, I honestly believe that pitches and plays like that are an edge that teams in the NFL aren't taking advantage of. It's pretty unlikely on a play like that you lose the ball, and it's really easy to gain a lot of yards. We see it all the time effective on things like interception returns. I think offensive coordinators are just so risk averse because like a fumble on one of those plays looks so bad that they don't do it. But you see all the time being successful on special teams and defense. So I'm excited that Even though Andy Reid apparently hates it, someone is a little bit of balls on the Kansas City Chiefs.
And just think about how close, some of these games come down to. For the Chiefs, you have the Scantling drop. You have, today's game with the offsides. Tony dropped the ball against Detroit. Green Bay, you don't get the pass interference call. That's the difference here. Some of these games, it comes down to one or two big plays at the end. And you're talking about the difference in the 1 seed. And we know how important the 1 seed is, especially going into Arrowhead. That's a tough place to win. And it's really impressive for the Bills. You don't usually see Sean McDermott get that fired up, because I think he knew with the week he had and the 9/11 comments and Buffalo being outside looking in on the playoff picture, that one meant a lot. That was a huge win for Buffalo. And you said on the show last week, Ziggy, you think they're just too good to not get into the playoffs. And after this, you have to be feeling really good about that take.
I had a gut feeling. It's like there's no way the second best team, or maybe even the best team in the AFC, doesn't make the playoffs. And I'm not saying it's going to be easy, right? They still have to win some tough games, but this was the hardest game left on their schedule probably, except maybe going on the road to Miami. The fact that they were able to win this and finally get some positive momentum. The story of the Bills this season has been that they've been losing a bunch of games they should have won. I'm hoping that winning a game they probably should have lost is going to be what shifts things and things start to get back to normal for them.
The Jaguars will be the 3 seed and Buffalo is the 6.
Yeah.
It'll be Buffalo -7 on the road.
Revenge spot too from London. Earlier in the season.
True.
Is Buffalo the second? Where do you rank them in the AFC right now? Because I think most people would have Baltimore 1. Zach obviously would have his Dolphins, but they have to be second or third at the moment, right?
I think I'd probably still take Kansas City over the Bills.
Yeah, you would.
I think I'd go Baltimore, the Dolphins, the Chiefs, and the Steelers, the Bills. The Bills are 4. Right?
Well, where would you have them, Ziggy?
It's tough for me to put. I can't put them below the Dolphins after what they did to the Dolphins, and it's tough to put them below the Chiefs after they beat the Chiefs in Arrowhead. I mean, they have. If you consider the wins they've got in the games they've played, right? Against the Eagles, Chiefs, and Dolphins, they won 2 and went to overtime in the 3rd. They're the only team that has shown that they're able to consistently play up to the best teams in the NFL. So, yeah, I think they're right there at 2, and you could even justify, I think, putting them at 1.
Yeah, that's insane to consider.
When Josh Allen is playing good, they are number 1.
But they rely so much on Allen, too, to come up with spectacular plays that's where I can see people pushing back and saying, all right, he's amazing. Josh Allen is incredible. How good is this Bills team really? And it's nuts that you say they might be your number 1 team in the AFC when they're sitting in the 11th spot right now. Like they are the 11th ranked or seed in the AFC at the moment.
I mean, Buffalo came out right out of the gate today in Arrowhead and they go 14-0. I thought they were going to blow them out.
I thought so too.
This team looks like one of the best teams in football. Then I look at the record. I'm like, how on earth is this team 6-6 fighting for a 7 seed?
It's crazy, but I really do think if they get in and go to Miami or go to Jacksonville, like that's a horrible scenario.
If they get in and
for those division winners,
and they play Jacksonville, Buffalo's favored in that game.
Yeah,
I would imagine.
I'm sure they will be. It's
like maybe even in Miami too. I don't know though.
No, if they beat the Dolphins twice, they'll be favored against Miami. If they realistically, there could be 3 teams that they'd go on the road to play in the playoffs and be favored against. It's insane.
Just an all-around good win today too. Is that the offense started strong, 14-0. The defense held Mahomes and company to 17 points. They were in 3rd and longs all day. Mm-hmm. I was impressed with what I saw overall from Buffalo. It was really an awesome win.
Well, they got Dallas next week in Buffalo, and if they win that game, they're going to go to the playoffs because they're going to beat the Chargers without Herbert now. They're going to beat the Patriots in Buffalo, and then they go to Miami that last week of the season. And Ziggy, you're kind of circling that at the moment, right? We were talking about
the Patriots. Don't say the Patriots.
Yeah, we were talking about maybe having a squad trip down for Bills Dolphins.
Hell yeah!
If there are some big moments on the line there. Could that be a game where, I know you're saying the Dolphins could lock up the 1 seed there, but Ziggy, you were mentioning you think the AFC East might not actually be locked up, which people are probably going to look at and say, all right, you're an idiot, but please tell us why.
So I don't think it's going to be for the 1 seed because I think the Dolphins are probably going to lose in Baltimore.
That's
right. And even our resident Dolphins fan, Zach, he can tell you The Dolphins going on the road to Baltimore just smells like disaster.
What do you mean? We won last year.
This year's Dolphins team can't win on the road. Every big game they play on the road, what happens?
It was the first for everything.
There's a first.
So all I'm saying is just
this 45-15 on the road.
They sound pretty good.
That was not a big game. All I'm saying is this, right? So like the Dolphins at this point have a harder schedule than the Bills, assuming that they beat the Titans, right? They host the Jets, they host the Cowboys, they go to Baltimore, and they host the Bills. If the Bills beat the Dolphins twice, they will have that tiebreaker locked up. It is not impossible. I'm not saying it's especially likely, but there is a straightforward path for the Bills to win the division, right? They're going to have to beat the Cowboys. That's the tough game. But then you've got the Herbertless Chargers. You've got the New England Patriots who can't do anything. And then you just win your hard game against the Dolphins and you're good to go.
Is it crazy to think, Buffalo beats the Cowboys, wins out those other two, and Miami loses to Dallas and Baltimore? And now you have a Bills team that could win if you guys lost the AFC East this season, with everything that you guys have going for you, if the Bills somehow won the division, I don't think it ever happens.
And the Dolphins go on the road and get to
Buffalo
in the first round.
Yeah,
that's it.
You have to win one of these games here.
I do seriously though think that the Dolphins will beat Dallas at home.
Mm-hmm.
They'll beat the Jets, and I think they will beat the Bills at home and win the division. Like I think that game will have. There's a good chance that game's the number one seed.
So you believe that would be more likely to be for the number one seed for Miami than Buffalo stealing the division?
Yeah, I think at that point, Miami will have locked it up.
Okay. And then in Kansas City, this is weird. We haven't seen this sort of, we talked about Patrick Mahomes being so upset during the game. You just don't see the Chiefs look this way very often, and the offense is so out of sorts. Travis Kelce clearly has lost a step. Now, I still think that in the playoffs, I think Kelce was going to show up. I know everyone's right now dogging on him, but these superstars tend to have a way of coming out in big moments. I just think back to like the Warriors a couple seasons ago. Everyone's like, oh, they suck. They go and win the NBA title. Like Travis Kelce and Mahomes have the it factor, in my opinion. So I'm actually not super concerned about them in the playoffs. I do think the rest of the team, though, the receivers, like, I don't know. Rice is fun, but is there anyone else on this team you could really throw to and be confident in? I don't think so.
I think that this whole Chiefs team, it's funny, 8-5 and the sky is falling, it was funny. But for them, it's all relative. But I think that this Chiefs team is distracted. I think Travis Kelce needs to tell this woman, look, for now, you have to stay out of the box. Let me do my football, you do your singing, and then in the offseason, we'll conjure back up. Isn't it a funny correlation how this whole thing comes about with Taylor Swift and yada, 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 and here the Chiefs.
Where is he going here?
They don't look like the Chiefs anymore. Like, am I wrong?
There's nothing
Why? You said nothing to do with that, but why?
Because here's what it has to do with. It doesn't have to do with Travis Kelce.
It's the same Chiefs team as years past. A better defense.
It's not the same Chiefs team.
Yeah, for the most
right?
part.
What receivers do they have?
They're the best defense they've ever had.
They have no run game and no receivers.
This is a very good
team. The defense wasn't the problem this game. The defense gave up 20 points to a hot Josh Allen in the Buffalo Bills.
I don't think Kelce looks himself.
Travis Kelce played fine this game, and he's 34.
I think
there's a limit to what you can ask your 34 tight end,
distracted,
even if you're Travis Kelce.
Distracted.
I think nobody seriously believes it has anything to do with Kelce being distracted.
I think he's distracted.
Right? I'm just saying this. You are just bullshitting, and we don't do that here.
Not
so
at
cut
all.
It out.
I'm dead serious.
No, it's just
I think it's a huge distraction.
I'm concerned with the offense, and it's a shame because with the defense looking so good, just go through the schedule here. They hold Miami to 14 points, the Eagles 21, the Bills 20. Like, these are high-powered offenses, really good quarterbacks that you're shutting down for the most part, and to not be able to score 25 is crazy for the Chiefs. But at some point, you're going to have to look and say, all right, maybe they're just not the same team. And when we talk about them,
I don't know why.
When we talk about them, we always tend to give them the benefit of the doubt. But at some point, you have to look back and say, well, here's what we're seeing. And right now, you're seeing a team that is just not able to put it together offensively. And I agree with you, Ziggy. I would power rank Buffalo above them right now. I power rank the Ravens above them. I don't know if this Chiefs team gets to the conference championship game with the way they're playing.
They get into a third and go ahead, Ziggy.
I was going to say, it is currently December 10th. It'll be December 11th when this video airs. Since October 1st, they've had 3 games where they've gone over 20 points.
Yeah, and that just doesn't happen. But at the same time, like if I had to pick a side, I still do lean saying Kansas City will figure it out. Like I've seen it so many times in the past. But for the people who say no, like you can't look at them and say you're crazy because everything you're seeing would defend that.
You don't think though it's a Saturday night, right? It's 10 o'clock. Taylor calls up Travis, hey, want to go for a drink? He's not gonna say no. He's going out Saturday having a good time.
I don't think that Taylor Swift will do that.
I think it was totally different before she came into the picture.
All right, I'm going over the Rams.
Please don't do this.
I'm going over the Rams Ravens.
What? Zach, you think I'm crazy for saying this?
Well, I think that was a terrible situation you came up with.
Was it going out for a drink on a Saturday night?
Yeah. I don't think
she's a megastar.
Yeah.
What are you talking
about? Ravens Rams.
A low-key speakeasy.
One of the best games of the year in Baltimore with Matt Stafford and Los Angeles losing 31-37 on a walk-off punt return. You said, Ziggy, that was the second one of the season?
Their backup returner.
The second walk-off punt return in overtime this season.
Yeah, remember the Jets-Bills game, week 1. That was nuts. But I remember why I felt bad for the Rams kid who missed the tackle on the punt return for Tylan Wallace, 76-yard punt return for a touchdown. My big takeaway from this game, though, was not related to Baltimore. I actually was watching this thinking to myself, the Rams look really good. And they look, to me, like the 4th best team in the NFC at the moment, behind Philly, Dallas, and San Francisco. With Matt Stafford healthy, Cooper Kupp healthy, Puka Nacua healthy, had an unbelievable catch. Kyron Williams is back. The offense it's crazy how Sean McVay has been able to pull this all together, given how young this team is. And in some ways, similar to the Texans, everyone thought they were just going to suck this year. But Stafford is playing like a top 10 quarterback in football. And when he's on, he's as dangerous as anyone in the NFC, including Jalen Hurts, including Dak, who's playing at an MVP level. With Matthew Stafford looking like this, I would not want to draw the Rams by any means in a playoff game. The concern I have, though, and this is exactly what we said on last week's show, they're playing so well, but just with the way that their schedule falls out, they still go to San Francisco, and the hope is in that game that San Francisco's maybe resting people. I think they're going to win their next 3, lose to San Fran, and miss out on the playoffs, just barely.
I think the good news for the Rams, though, so I agree, they've got 3 relatively straightforward wins, and let's say they lose to San Francisco. Mm-hmm. The other teams in the NFC shouldn't be scaring you that much.
No,
obviously the Cowboys have a spot, so that's knocked off, or the Eagles, whoever wins that division. But the Vikings have a million injuries again.
That team is so freaking bad.
The Packers are up and down, but even if they're up, there's still a spot left. The NFC South is a dumpster fire. The Seahawks can't win a game. And the Seahawks have a tough schedule left. So if you're the Rams, if you can, I think you're in your destiny here. You control it. All you got to do is just win the games that you ought to win. Let things ride, and you'll make the playoffs.
So I'm saying for the Rams to not make the playoffs, I'm essentially saying that the Vikings will go 3-1 at Cincinnati, hosting Detroit, hosting Green Bay, at Detroit. And if I'm being if I'm going to try and be reasonable here,
there's a world there that with that schedule that they're 3-1.
Well, no, the Vikings could do that, but if I'm trying to be realistic and honest with my take, I love the Vikings. It's more likely we get the Rams in. It just has to be, right?
And frankly, for the sake of the football watching community, I'd rather get the Rams win.
Oh, well, look, dude, the game was horrible. What are we? We're 7-6. They're 6-7 right now. I think the Vikings own the tiebreaker, right?
Yeah, well, maybe if the Vikings have a better record than the Rams, we'll put the Rams in anyway because they're better be a better game.
Oh, yeah. Go to a committee.
Let's just do that. We'll go to a committee.
So if we had we're a game up right now. Yeah, I think we're gonna beat Detroit at home. I'm gonna stick with my Vikings take for now, but I think the Rams are a really dangerous team, and it's one of the best coaching performances in football too from Sean McVay, and that they've done a great job with Stafford, and they're a Stafford injury this season away from definitely being a playoff team.
I mean, we said this before the season. I remember Ziggy was saying the Rams were a plus 1,000 about to win the NFC West. And that was
There's a little tongue in cheek when Ziggy said that.
Yeah, but talking about the Rams being a decent team, when you have a good quarterback who is capable enough to win a Super Bowl, and you have some good weapons, Cooper Kupp, Puka Nacua is
great
stepped up and been great.
Great weapons.
Good run game with Kyren Williams. But Stafford in particular, when you have a quarterback of that caliber and he's healthy and he's playing to his potential, this is a team who they showed it today, despite the loss, could beat probably anybody in the NFL. And there's not many teams out there, especially in the NFC, who are like that.
Oh, and we look at the wild card teams that they're competing with. Seattle, no. The Vikings, no. The Packers, like they are clearly the best out of that group.
I mean, that Puka Nacua had a grab today on the sideline, like a diving catch.
Unbelievable.
It was unbelievable, but no one really ever talked about the throw. The throw that Stafford made was freaking unreal. Like not many QBs can make that throw. But they looked awesome today. Like Baltimore took a lead, that Zay Flowers touchdown, 2-point conversion, 40 seconds left, and the Rams go right down the field, a few end zone shots to win it, end up settling for a game-winning field goal. But that was a loud stadium today. Baltimore was playing well, and the Rams were punch for punch.
Yeah, and the good thing about the Rams is the young defense hasn't been nearly the disaster people thought it would. Right? I'm not saying this defense has been lights out, but the Ravens threw everything they had at Aaron Donald to neutralize him today, and they succeeded, right? I don't know what Aaron Donald did, but he didn't show up on the stat line. I'm not sure if he generated a single pressure. Maybe it was just one. But everyone else was able to step up, right? Guys like Ernest Jones were able to step in and get pressure, get sacks, make Lamar Jackson uncomfortable. And who knows what would have happened if things had kept going on that drive and the Ravens offense had to step out. But the Rams defense played all right against one of the most difficult to defend offenses in the NFL. So things have been okay for them.
And also, I mean, look at overtime today. Baltimore comes out, they get the ball, and the Rams D gets a stop. Like they had a chance to go and win that game.
Like right now, if the Rams go to, who would it be? Detroit or New Orleans, whoever it may be. I pick the Rams in that game at this point in time.
I think I would take the Rams probably over anybody right now in the playoffs besides the two guys at the top, Philly or San Francisco.
Dallas.
Well, they wouldn't play Dallas. That would be.
Oh, okay. You're saying first.
Well, maybe they play. Say Dallas wins the division.
Yeah,
You're not taking the Rams over Dallas.
No, then I'd probably take Dallas. Yeah, I'd take Dallas.
Yeah,
I would take the East winner in San Francisco, but I might take the Rams over Detroit now too.
Yeah, I think that would Detroit. We'll get to them in just a second.
Stafford's revenge. That'd be an awesome game.
Ziggy said last week what's really funny about the Rams and Lions situation is that if you flip the quarterbacks again, it might work out for each franchise going forward. Like the Rams kind of get a younger quarterback who they could try and build around. I don't think Goff. I'm not really sold on him, but Stafford in Detroit would be perfect right now. I mean, that's a Super Bowl. Like he elevates them to another level.
That could be a Super Bowl favorite.
Yeah, and then real quickly on the Ravens here, we are talking about teams that we trust in the AFC. Because most people are pretty confident in San Francisco. You're pretty confident that Philly will show up to a big game in the playoffs. But there are question marks around these AFC teams right now. Normally we trust the Chiefs, but right now it's a little sketchy. Dolphins, they have their issues. And the Ravens, Lamar is known for choking in playoff moments. Out of all these different AFC teams right now that we have, do you trust anyone in particular, or who would be your number one?
Well, I was gonna say it'd be the Chiefs, but after today, I've kind of swayed away from that. The Dolphins is tough.
Like, do you trust anyone in the AFC?
I'd probably say Baltimore if I had to choose one. But
I would too.
Like even like Baltimore has had Baltimore gonna have a game when they can lay an egg. Like today they could have lost as 7-point favorites. They have a loss to the Colts.
That was a bad line.
Yeah, but like they have a loss to the Colts at home. Like they have a bad history, which is tough to ignore. But you look at these other teams around them, and it's tough to really trust anybody. Like if the Miami Dolphins hosted throughout and got the number 1 seed, I'd probably take them. Mm-hmm. But I'd probably say Baltimore right now. Kansas City, no.
What about you, Ziggy?
I feel like...
Oh, my God.
I'm going to get memed if I say the Bills, and I can't justify saying the Bills.
You can't say you trust the Bills based on
this
season.
But like the thing is how crazy would it be to say they're the team I trust the most? It'd be a little crazy, right? But they're not that far off from everyone else, right? Like,
no, they're not.
Every single team in the AFC has baffling bang your head against the wall losses.
But the Ravens haven't. The Ravens have looked very good for a while now.
No, they have.
Like they
right?
show up every week. This season at least.
But there's that history, right? And it's not just the history of the Ravens losing to Gardner Minshew in overtime this year. I mean, like there's just a history of this Ravens team. Zach says it every week, right? There are just a couple of times when the Ravens will just put together the most inexplicable loss of your life late in the season. Sometimes it happens in the playoffs. Sometimes it doesn't. You just don't know. So, yeah, I mean, I guess I probably take the Ravens. Maybe I take the Dolphins. But there's no team that feels like the 49ers, where besides that little slide in October, you can trust that every week they're going to show up. I just don't feel confident in any of these AFC teams, which is part of why I feel like the Bills have a chance to make a run.
The Ravens are kind of like the Dodgers. Like they look unbelievable in regular seasons. Like, all right, this is the year. This is the best team in the league. Then they host a playoff game, and they'll lose to some random AFC Wild Card team. Like the Texans go in there and beat them.
I trust Lamar Jackson more this year than I think I ever have before.
Lamar this year, I think this is his best year yet.
Like, I mean, I know the 2019 season, he had these crazy numbers, the MVP
only
stuff.
Full year he's had so far.
Yeah. But in 2019, when he won the MVP, he had, ridiculous numbers. But I'm not sure that, right now with the way he's playing, every time he drops back to pass, this is like he looks different as a passer.
He also, in terms of the receiver room, I think these are some of the best weapons he's had.
Well, yeah,
not some of.
It is
clearly the best. Yeah, there was to win the game.
Well.
Yeah, to win the game. What? So first he overthrew Odell, which was unfortunate. But then he threw a great pass to Zay Flowers. Zay Flowers caught that, brought it in for a touchdown. 2-point conversion. Lamar scrambles out. Immediately, Zay Flowers pops open and gets the ball.
Yeah.
Like, he just has guys who can help him. And he's not getting bailed out by these receivers, but they're doing what they need to do. And that's something Lamar Jackson hasn't had his whole career.
Yeah, he's never really had these guys. I mean, he's had Mark Andrews, great tight end, but you look at who he's had on the outside, the best has been Hollywood Brown.
And the whole question about do you trust the Ravens, like that really boils down to do you trust Lamar Jackson? Because the defense, they're going to show up to the playoff game. The defense should be there. It comes down to do you think Lamar can get the job done? And from what we've seen this year, I believe in them. Like, I think they are the team to beat in the AFC. And they'll be challenged. It's not like they're going to steamroll people. I can see San Francisco steamrolling the NFC. Like, I can see that happening.
And Baltimore controls their own destiny for the one, don't they?
Yeah. Oh, if they beat Miami. Well, it's all going to come down to that Miami game.
Yeah.
Whoever wins that will probably be the 1 seed. And then I'd love to see Miami get it. I think it's going to go through Baltimore. But if Miami gets it feels a little different.
If Miami gets it, we're going down for a playoff game.
Well, if Miami wins, it's like, okay, let's see, Miami's this team that not everyone believes in, but if they're hosting these games, if Baltimore goes to Miami in a playoff game, that's kind of fun. If Miami goes to Baltimore, I think the Ravens, wax them. But that's what I'd like to see.
Do you agree, Zach, or no? Do you agree?
What do you think my answer is?
He agrees.
I don't agree with anything.
Let's do a little bit on the Lions and the Bears here, because the Bears, they should have beat Detroit twice this year. I remember Goff was moving the ball down the field with 3.5 left in the game. It's like, wait a second, this is like exactly what happened the last time. But the Bears wind up winning 28-13. And Detroit, we'll touch on both teams. Detroit, to me, I'm really concerned if I'm a Lions fan right now. You're still 9-4. You're probably going to win the NFC North, although, the door's open, but the other Vikings going to beat them twice? Probably not. But just the way that you've been sort of pushed around lately against Green Bay, now against Chicago, you got out to the quick lead against the Saints, but after that, they were up 21-0 the first 7-8 minutes. After that, the game ended 33-28. So I'm not happy if I'm a Lions fan at all with what I'm seeing. And one of the main reasons for that is Jared Goff has looked really bad. And that scares me as we head into, we're in December football right now. This is not the time of year to have bad Jared Goff come out when we haven't seen that in months.
Yeah, we've said this too. What's the one thing that is going to drag down this Lions team a bit is a crappy Jared Goff. And we've seen crappy Jared Goffs in the past. And what concerns me mainly is not the fact, the Lions will still be probably number 3 or number 4 seed win the NFC North. Mm-hmm. But it's just, now you look at them amongst the rest of the Super Bowl hopefuls in the NFC. It's where the Lions have looked. I don't think right now they can beat San Francisco or Dallas or Philadelphia. Like, it's not a matter of of falling out of a home playoff game or the division, but it's going on the road now to San Francisco or Dallas or Philly. And the way that they're playing, there's no chance.
And how do you mess up Jared Goff is you get pressure on him. And look at the teams that they would have to play here. The 49ers rush with Chase Young has been awesome.
Like, it would be
the
detrimental.
Cowboys, the Eagles, like all these teams. That's the whole year we've like praised Detroit for being able to, in what we've believed, match up physically with these other NFC, really good, tough teams. And now I'm starting to think back on that and going, I don't know. Micah Parsons might have his way. Like Nick Bosa might. I could see 2 or 3 interceptions with Nick Bosa bearing down Goff's throat. Like, I know Lions fans are probably going to come and be like, relax. Like, we're fine. We're still going to control our destiny. But, the Bears, you got manhandled by the Bears.
I mean, honestly, twice.
Yeah.
Twice. Twice. Like, the Lions' first win was ridiculous against the Bears.
Yeah, I'm not happy. Ziggy, are you saying relax to us, or are you just going to keep piling on?
The thing I worry about this game the most was just how many penalties there were for the Lions, right? They were one of the least penalized teams in the entire league coming into this game. They put up 8. There were some bad pre-snap penalties. There was a really bad intentional grounding. There was that really bad 4th and 12 offsides jump I think that was Hutchinson that jumped offsides there, and that got the Bears to a touchdown. So like those kinds of mistakes are a problem. And it's really a problem when they're going to have some big games coming up, and every single team they play for the rest of the season is motivated to win. Yep. Right? The Broncos are coming to Detroit next week.
That's a huge game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a huge game. They play the Vikings twice, and the Vikings are fighting. We'll have some delusion of the division, but really we're fighting for our playoff lives. And then they have to go to Dallas.
Some delusion of the division.
Think about it. If the Lions lose to the Broncos,
the delusion's entitled.
Is it crazy to say
it's entitled delusion?
If the Lions lose to the Broncos and the Vikings beat the Bengals, who it probably won't happen, but maybe the Vikings are then hosting Detroit with the division. Like if the Vikings win that game, they're in first.
Yeah. No, the delusion's entitled.
That's crazy.
The delusion's entitled.
All I'm saying
is, the Vikings going to lock up the NFC North by week 18?
You'd be the worst division.
Clickbait. That's our clickbait title.
Yeah, do the Vikings lock it up? Because after we beat Detroit there, we'll beat Green Bay at home on New Year's Eve, and the Lions will lose to the Cowboys.
Then you go to Detroit, right?
Yeah, but we lock it up.
Oh, right, you would lock it by then.
No, we'd have the same record, and then.
Oh yeah,
I don't know where the tie. No, we win the tiebreaker because we own the division record. So the Vikings have a path to locking up. Look how we're talking ourselves. And Lions fans are going to be furious.
You'd be like the 4 hosting Dallas, right? And be like 13-point underdogs,
or hopefully the 3 because we beat New Orleans.
More realistically, let's set aside this ridiculous Vikings picture for a second.
We're sorry. Just let us have our moment there. We usually don't go off the script like that.
Here's the thing about the Lions is they have a lot of expectations this year for the first time ever. And we're starting to see, after steamrolling the first 11 games of their schedule, things are starting to look tough. I guess the first 10 games. The question is whether this team has the maturity and the perspective to step back, say, all right, the first few games were tough, but we're going to be able to get this together, keep our cool, stop making so many penalties, and just play clean football. If they can do that, they'll win games. The question is going to be whether Dan Campbell can get focus back, get the team back together, and just play good football. I think they can do that.
They can,
but there is not a guarantee.
They can. I don't think they will. I think they'll go into the playoffs, with the division, and I think they might lose in the first round.
Realistically, they haven't had a good game since October 30th against the Raiders. That's not good.
At a lot of these bad games, right, that a Jalen Hurts will have, or a Brock Purdy and the Niners will have, or even Dak and the Cowboys, against a team like the Bears, they're probably still winning that game.
Yes.
But a bad Jared Goff,
you get blown out.
We've seen what happens. And Jared Goff has had his fair number of games over his entire career where he looks horrible. Mm-hmm. Like, it's tough to ignore that. And he looks bad, and you lose by 15. You get crushed by a 3-win Bears team
who are playing better.
Yes,
the Bears are playing better, but still,
sure,
the Niners don't lose that game. The Eagles don't lose that game.
And you're also you're getting destroyed at home by Green Bay, who they're looking better too. Absolutely, but again, like the Niners and the Eagles probably don't lose that game at home.
Gosh, I wish Kirk was here. I'm looking at 3-0 Vikings win. I'm like, all right, like realistically, it's like, come on.
Against the Raiders, dude.
Yeah. And briefly on the Bears right here, regardless of how they've looked, I know it's been fun for Bears fans the past couple of weeks. You know, you beat the Vikings and give a little damper to their playoff hopes. Crush the Lions. Like, that's fun for Chicago fans. They're a great fan base. Justin Fields is playing better football, and he's making his trade value go up to me. But I still see things every single game where, you know, he just misses someone who's wide open. A throw that he has to make. And he's electrifying. He's so fun to watch. It's still very easy for me to say, okay, it has to be Caleb Williams. You get Caleb Williams on a rookie contract. You build around him going forward. You got some nice pieces there. And flip Justin, you know, to the Falcons or whoever these rumored teams are. Try and get a second for him. And I think that is a great situation for Chicago. He's showing other teams that he can be a good quarterback. But when you talk about the consistency issues and then the benefit of Caleb Williams on a rookie contract or whatever quarterback you want to take, it has to be Williams. But if they went somewhere else, he's not going to do enough to win the job over for me. But I do think I do applaud the way that he has performed this season and bounced back.
I'm rolling with Justin.
You're pro Fields, yeah.
I'm pro
Fields.
Yeah, I think he's still 24. He's had some years in the league. I think he's only going to get better. I think he's a guy. I'm not taking a guy who took USC to the Holiday Bowl this year.
I let any Bears fans please comment whether or not you at this point in time, post Lions win, would you rather roll with a rookie next year?
They're all going to say Fields,
or would you roll with Fields? It is so easy to me to put in to say Caleb Williams here, where I just don't tell me why I'm wrong. Ziggy, what side do you come down on before we?
I come down on side rookie quarterback, but here's the thing. That doesn't really matter right now. What matters is just getting an upward trajectory, just getting people playing well and starting to show. If you're the coaching staff, right? If you're Matt Eberflus, just trying to show that you can do something. And the fact is they've played a lot better this is the Bears team that folks thought we were getting at the start of the season, right? When Justin Fields was a dark horse MVP candidate, people were talking about the Bears winning the division. So one can hope.
No. We
I don't think we ever.
I never. Yeah, no.
I didn't say we. I said folks. I said folks.
Oh, no, sorry. Well, this show did not say the Bears were winning the division. Folks. At least I know I didn't. I thought they stunk. Does anyone remember saying the Bears were winning the NFC North? It sounds like something Ziggy.
No, I think I said they were going 6-11.
Yeah, no. I mean,
I don't think we even sniffed the word close to winning the division.
We mentioned Denver winning. Actually, we mentioned Denver possibly winning the division. I mentioned
said the Buccaneers.
You said the Buccaneers. Zach said the Texans were going to the playoffs. But
yeah, we've had our good takes.
No one said the Bears. I do not want that attached to the name of to this show at all.
We lose.
I didn't say we said that.
Oh no. I'm just clarifying for anyone who might.
Oh, carry on, Ziggy. Carry on.
What do you want from me? What do you want from me, man?
I thought you were midpoint.
All I'm saying is at the start of the season, some people are saying the Bears were a dark horse NFC North winner. This is going to be like the Mitch Trubisky year. That's all I'm saying.
Although, I do think that they have. I think the Bears are in a really good spot, actually, with the pieces that they have there.
They will have the number one overall pick.
Plus the
Thank you, Carolina Panthers.
Oh my god!
And they're going to get more with the Fields trade. If you did that, I think that'd be awesome.
For me, it's so easy. You go and draft Marvin Harrison, and then you got Marvin Harrison and DJ Moore. Dang, that's what I want.
You got both of them with Caleb Williams.
No, you take Marvin Harrison then Joe Alt at number 5 or whatever.
We can save this for our draft preview.
Gosh, this could be fun. I can't wait for all the. But the Bears fans, we're kind of ribbing with you right now. But overall, I think it's a really good fan base to be a fan of at the moment. Exciting, maybe not good. But
here's what you can at least say. This has to feel so much better. Things have changed so much since it was when they lost to the Vikings on October 15th, or maybe when they lost to the Broncos, when they got blown out by the Chiefs. The start of the season was so bad, starting with that Packers blowout and going from there. It's at least nice that things are feeling a little bit better.
And the one last thing I wanted to mention on this reaction show today, the big losers to me for the day. And it's sad because, we talk about them a lot and we've become fans to some degree. I thought the Texans missed a huge, huge opportunity today with Jacksonville losing to Cleveland. You had a chance there. You could have tied up, right? You could have tied up the division, at least from a record standpoint. And
Wrap game.
To lose to the Jets, to have Zach Wilson go off for 30 points in the second half, Stroud gets banged up, Nico Collins gets banged up, like just a week ago, and the Tank Dell injury just absolutely sucks. From where we were a week ago to right now, it's like I love watching this team play, but this felt like one of those games where if you got this one and you're threatening for the division again, you get a home game maybe in Houston. This felt like a big, like, all right, maybe we do have to take a step back and look at Houston and say, really fun team, but where are we actually considering them in the the playoff race?
When this line in this game went from Jets +5.5 to +2.5, you knew right then and there. Because who on earth is betting the Jets like that? And then you know.
I'll say this much: like their playoff odds definitely aren't over, right?
No, definitely not.
The Browns are 8-5. Steelers, Colts, Texans, Broncos, Bengals, and Bills are all 7-6. Somehow that has to get sorted out. It is not impossible to get sorted out in the Texans' favor. This was like a typical trap game. Mm-hmm. We said it in our preview last week, right? The Texans are just going to go to New York and get rolled by this Jets defense. So you take your lickings. It happens. You got 2 games left against the Titans. You got the Browns. You got the Colts.
Oh, you control everything.
And the Jets
you can win those games. So there's no reason to panic yet. The fact is, when you have a rookie quarterback and a young team, you can't expect to just win every single game. And this Jets team, for all their struggles, right? They're not awful. They're just bad.
The Jets have been weird at home this year, too. Like, they've beaten Philly.
Bad weather today in Jersey here. Like, really bad weather today. It's, one of those games. Good defense.
Yeah.
Like, it does happen. But it was one to me where I went, damn it. Like, as someone who's been rooting for the Texans, like, this is one that you really wanted to get.
But the Jets, like, in that building, they've beaten Buffalo, they've beaten the Eagles, they've hung with the Chiefs. Like, weird things have happened there with this Jets team this year. And Houston caught them on the wrong day.
Are you again scared of Joe Flacco again, Jack? Are you getting like some post-traumatic stress disorder?
I mean, I think Joe Flacco's record in Pittsburgh is like 35-3.
Is he back? I mean, is Joe back?
He was never gone. I've always loved Joe Flacco. I was saying last year he should be the Jets starting quarterback.
What's the thing about Joe Flacco, right? Joe Flacco is terrible.
No, he's not.
Unless you can protect him, in which case he's really good. He has zero mobility. He's a statue.
Actually, like he is, but today I thought he moved around okay. I was like, what the hell's going on? I thought Flacco sucked.
No, he sucks.
No, like look, is Joe Flacco good? Again, he's not particularly good, but if you're the Browns, what do you need? You've got a great offensive line. You have some weapons. You just need a guy who can like deliver the ball on time and safe. And Joe Flacco will be like, I mean, he threw 45 times this game, right? He's still got an arm.
Am I crazy to say that Joe Flacco on the Steelers is a Super Bowl contender?
Yes.
You guys don't have an offensive line.
That's just outrageous to say.
You don't have an offensive line.
He's better than Mitch.
I'm actually kind of excited about the Bengals, too. Like, do I think they get in? Probably not. But that offense has so many weapons, and the way Jake Browning has played the past 2 weeks.
Browning's great. Millions better than Bryce Young, I'll tell you that.
The Bengals are just floating there. It's going to be a fun playoff picture for the AFC when you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 teams.
I'll guarantee you one of those teams is out. We're out.
Yeah. You guys
discard.
You're still there right now, though. You're the 6th seed.
We're not.
But just to run through things, right? The Chiefs are 8-5, Jags 8-5, Browns 8-5. Steelers, Colts, Texans, Broncos, Bengals, Bills, all 7-6. Realistically, any of those teams could make the playoffs. Just by the record, any of them could miss the playoffs.
We're going to go to Miami and lose 75-3.
You're not going to get in. You're not going to get in.
No, I mean, look, we might. Like, the schedule's not hard, is it?
If you're a fan of an AFC team, it is time to memorize the tiebreakers.
Yeah.
Because I can guarantee you those tiebreakers are going to matter this season.
Man, it's I think Cleveland will get in. I think who did I say? I said Cleveland, the Colts, and the Broncos.
The Colts will beat the Steelers this week.
I think I had the Steelers. No, Texans and the Texans. That's who I had. It's going to be a fun race. It's going to be fun. The Vikings and Steelers are the 6 seeds right now.
Who's worse?
I don't know. So can you imagine, like, if you said to this show earlier in the year, like, all right, going into week 14, the Dolphins would be the 2 seed, and the Steelers, Vikings are the 6 seeds without Kirk Cousins or Kenny Pickett. Like, that is the fact that we're all in the playoffs right now.
It's such
ridiculous.
a deranged
So who
year.
would you go to? You'd go to like the Lions?
Right now, we go to Detroit.
And
We're winning the division.
Where would we go?
You guys would go to Kansas City.
I mean, I don't know.
That's one where like Watt might have a big sack in the first quarter somewhere, but you're down like 14-0 anyway, and you're like, maybe they have a chance here.
Like
you get the ball back, and Trubisky throws a pick six, and it's 21-0.
21-0, it's over. Yeah.
That's how I see that game going. And
I'll take the Steelers plus 19.5. They won't cover.
The like, I don't know if the Vikings actually have a quarterback. Like, we actually might not have a quarter. Like, we might have to put Cam Akers in his
welcome to the club. Welcome to the club. Non-quarterback club.
Ridiculous. Think about that. Out of the playoff teams right now, Vikings, Steelers, Colts, Browns all have backup quarterbacks.
All I'm saying is, wouldn't the most Buffalo Bills thing to do be to win the Super Bowl in a year this cursed? This much chaos. After everyone counts them out, that's when they finally get it together and win.
Yeah, like when they're not like the favorite or expected to do so.
Oh, the Bills. I mean, the Bills get in. I know people who are saying that the Bills getting hot and being a threat is a bad take. I think that's absurd to say. Like,
I mean, we went through at the beginning of the show. They're one of the best teams in the AFC.
Almost anyone right now would say they're a top 10 team in football. Anyone. So how can you say that
they're obviously a top 5 team.
Like, well, I don't know about that, but maybe like
you can put them at 6. You can put them at 6 if you want. They're top 6.
Yeah, Cowboys, Niners,
Ravens, Dolphins.
Dolphins.
But for some people, would put Buffalo ahead of the Dolphins, and that's understandable.
That's correct.
If they get in, they are a huge threat. And I mean, I hope they get in. I like watching Josh Allen, but Zach's like, no, please God, no.
Zach's also half asleep.
Yeah. All right, we will wrap it up and be back with some more stuff later this week. Maybe some more Week 14 reaction plus the Week 15 preview show. Thanks again for everyone who's been listening. We've really been appreciating all the comments and support lately. Some of the comments have been really nice, and that's just thank you. We really appreciate that. And it's okay, for people who leave mean comments, like, it's fine.
Rather that than no comment.
Yeah, it's fine.
Appreciate
it's fine.
it.
If you hate the show, you hate the show.
Yeah, please comment.
Yeah,
let us know you hate the show.
All right. Hope everyone has a good week.
Watch it and hate on it some more.
Yeah, have a good week, everybody. We'll see you soon.